everyone, how's it going? Ben here from JRP, here to do an unboxing on new XForce exhaust for this MK8 GTI we see behind us here. So do you hate your neighbors? Are you antisocial? Let's put an exhaust on your car. But the nice thing about XForce is that they actually have valves. So basically you can be loud when you want. So say if the neighbor's been, a little bit of a dick lately, start it, nice cold start, 5 o'clock in the morning, or if he's been bringing beer over and been taking care of the kids, then push a little button, close the valve, and you're good to go. So what makes XForce special is the fact that they're Australian, so that's pretty cool. But the biggest thing that they're well known for is the fact that they put valve exhaust on cars that have valves as well as cars that don't have valves. Just basically have a little controller, a little key fob that controls the valve opening, closing it like you would on a higher end sports car. But then they actually have something here that we'll dive into a little bit later, which is called the Smart Box, which has some pretty cool features that basically nothing else has. So let's get into this, see what we've got here. Some nice packaging here. I like that they actually have a pretty nice box design too. No brown box stuff here. So here we've got a nice little black box. So this comes with the standard valve system, which has your little key fobs here, as well as the controller, and then your wiring harness as well. So this basically just gives you the ability to have a little key fob with an open and close button. But then, like I mentioned earlier, we have this Varex Smart Box, which actually allows you to control it through your phone, as well as adds a bunch of other features. So here we've just got some tubing. So they've got some very nicely finished, nice welds, nice brush finish on the metal. Definitely looks nice. And more of the same. Here I believe we have the front portion of the mid pipe. Nice thick flanges, good quality. Looks nice. So here's the little Y pipe that connects the rear part to the tips. Got a nice cast collector here with the XForce logo built in. Very, very nice. And here's what looks to be muffler slash resonator. Yeah, again, really nice flanges, great looking welds, nice looking piece. It's got the stamped XForce logo in it. Yeah, very nice. So this must be the muffler here. Yep, and this has what XForce is known for is their built-in, their integrated valve system here. So essentially inside you'll have a couple of different exhaust paths. So by opening or closing the valve, it basically changes the tone and the overall aggressiveness of the exhaust. So by having it open, it's basically straight through. By having it closed, it diverts it around the packing and whatnot, just to dampen some of the sound and to take a lot of the obviously volume out of it. I'm gonna set that aside so it doesn't get messed up. We have here, yeah, this looks like a reducer. So for those of you using a stock downpipe, basically this just reduces the larger exhaust diameter to the OEM downpipe diameter. So it's a bolt-on affair. Then in here, we've got our tips. Looks to be a nice stainless polish tip. Yeah, very nice tip. So they have the beveled, it's not like a single layer slash cut tip, which looks very tuner and sometimes can look a little bit cheap. But this definitely has a very OEM style kind of beveled liner. Has a nice polished stainless finish, as well as the engraved XForce logo. And the second tip for those of you counting. Then this must be all of our hardware. Sounds like it. Yeah, here you've got all your nuts and bolts, gaskets, and everything needed. Yeah, looks like there's an exhaust hanger in here as well. All right, everything looks great here. Really excited to see how this thing sounds. These cars always sound great with an exhaust. And for those of you who like to be teased, let's get into that Smart Box right now. Oh wow, actually comes with a nice little case. That's actually pretty cool. A lot of people don't know this, but you can hide your weed in there. Wow, that's actually pretty nice. Very similar actually to some other companies have very nice casing for their high-end electronics. So this follows suit. So here, basically this is the brains. This essentially has a GPS output, as well as obviously all the electronic connections and your OBD2 connection. So that basically does everything. Then you've got in here your OBD2 cable, and then your GPS cable to hook that up. And then would look to be in some instructions, but I might actually have to tear that apart, so I'm not going to do that. The neat thing that makes the Varex Smart Box so interesting is the fact that you have GPS and you also have Bluetooth. So you can control it with your phone, whereas with the standard Varex controller that it comes with, it's just a key fob that has an open and close. Whereas this, you can go into the XForce app and actually you can adjust how open or how closed the valve is. So you can have it at 32% or 75% or whatever you want essentially. The nice thing with the GPS too is that you can actually geofence an area. Say a kilometer away from home, you want the valves to close automatically. So use the GPS to sense when you're in a certain area that you've fenced off. And then essentially once you cross over into it, it will actually close the valves on its own. Or if you're worried about the police or other sensitive areas, then you can definitely use the geofencing feature to fence off those areas so that the valve is closed when you're either coming home or going past the police or a deaf children's school, something like that. I guess deaf children wouldn't really care about a loud exhaust, would they? But yeah, it's really neat. So let's get going on the install and get you an exhaust video. All right, we've got the exhaust on this finally installed. Fitment looks amazing. Basically perfect clearances, especially with the larger pipe. You see with a lot of aftermarket systems, you actually have issues with clearance around control arms and subframes and whatnot. But one thing I really wanted to point out about this exhaust, which is quite cool, you actually don't see a lot of exhausts doing this, is that this mid pipe is actually 2 flanges, which is a little curious, but then when you actually think about what they do, it's actually quite ingenious. So it's just 4 bolts and it comes with an unresonated mid pipe. So if you want the exhaust to be a little bit louder, you'd throw this in, but it also comes with a resonated mid pipe, which if you want to quiet it down, it's literally just 4 bolts right up, and brings a lot of the sound down, a lot of the tone down, and allows the car just to be a little bit more livable. But along with the valve, this really allows you to have a lot more difference in experience as far as how loud or how quiet the system's going to be. So it's going to suit a lot more people's needs rather than ordering one that's resonated and having the chance that you might not like how quiet or how loud it is. So yeah, let's take a look at the rest of the exhaust. All right, so now working our way to the back. It's a very good looking exhaust, much larger tips, fills out the cutouts in the bumper a lot nicer, just looks a lot better with the kind of OEM style tip as well. It's not screaming in your face that you have an aftermarket exhaust. And I really like this XForce branded cast collector they have here. That just means you're gonna have longevity, quality, and you've got a little something that just shows the brand off, which is pretty cool. But yeah, let's hop into it. Let's see what this thing sounds like. Definitely really cool exhaust. Having the valves really opens up a lot of options for people, especially if you live in an area where sound might be a point of contention when wanting to modify your car. If you want to check out other exhaust videos, make sure to check out the link to our YouTube channel up above here, and make sure to like, subscribe, and even comment down below what you want to hear. And that's a wrap on the XForce exhaust install for a Mark 8 Golf GTI.